Welcome back to another episode of GL Rustic Design. Today we're going to be working on a do-it-yourself barn rail for sliding doors, farmhouse doors. Here's a brief overview of all the things you'll need. Not pictured is the washers that you'll also need. I'll go through everything you'll need from pencils to the nuts, bolts, metal, all that. I will link that in the description below. I actually got my metal from a local steel yard, which you can usually get a 20-foot stick. I make these a lot, so I buy them in the bulk. You can also buy them from Home Depot. I'll link that below. So the first step is to cut the wheels that go on the doors. You'll mark these off at 8 inches. And make sure that you have a battery that's good and charged. But you'll mark these off at 8 inches, and then you'll cut 4 pieces to make the wheels. And then once you cut all 4 of those, you will make 3 marks. Make one at 1/2 inch, make one at 4 inches, and make one at 6 inches. The one that's a 1/2 inch will be your wheel that slides along the rail at the end, and then the 4 and the 6 will be the 2 bolt holes to hold it on the door. Once you mark those off, make sure you at least center the top little notch, but you can use a drill or a drill press. It's just easier to get a straight hole with a drill press. Drill all 3 of those holes and all the 4 pieces that you just cut, and then you'll come back. These clothes hanger wheels I actually picked up from Home Depot. Like I said, I'll link all this in the description below. All you have to do here is cut off the outside part. You can use a Dremel. You could also use some Snips as well. Make sure that you poke out the center metal piece so that the bolt slides in there and has just enough room to move around. Once you get all of those cut off, it's time you can start assembling your wheels. So here you can use a bolt, then a washer, and then you put the metal piece onto the bolt, and then you put another washer, and then you put the wheel. Once you get the wheel in place, you can put another washer, and then you can put the nut on the back. And while we have a second, I just want to say like and subscribe to my page. It really helps me out. Once you get the nut attached, I always use a lock nut on the back. I use a 11 inch or 11 millimeter socket, tighten it all the way down, and I usually come back with just a little handheld one and loosen it up just enough. You don't want it too tight, obviously, because it won't move, but you don't want it too loose as well. So do the same to all 4, and then once you do that, I use a little small piece of pipe. You can use metal if you need, but this is really just used as the spacer. These are all cut at 1.5 inches because that's the thickness of the door. If your door is thicker or skinnier, then you can adjust this here. I cut the piece that I actually built has 5 of these. Just however many holes you plan on drilling in the rail on the piece is how many of these you'll need to cut. Once you get those cut, you can use a jigsaw here or a miter saw, whichever you prefer. You'll come back and you'll spray paint everything black. I have come to find out the more you spend on spray paint, the better quality of paint that is. I guess that's really everything in life. But here I use the Rust-Oleum black gloss, and then when you get to the actual spacers part, you can just be real gentle. Make sure you get those black, and then when you do the wheels, flip them over, and when you spray paint the outside, make sure that you rotate the wheel at the top to get the piece that you miss. And then also you have to flip the rail over to spray paint that as well. Spray paint the front and the back. Here I'm just measuring how long I need the piece. I actually measured. I was working on an entertainment center, and the sliding barn door actually went on a cabinet. Which is on the other side of my table there. Like I said in the video, I measured the entertainment center. It's all the same. Here I'm just cut same step as when you cut the rail for the wheels. Just measure the distance you need, cut the rail where you need it. Once you do that, I usually put a mark at 2 on each ends, and then just kind of, see where you need, your other marks. If you want, depending on how many holes you want, 4 or 5. I think in this video there end up being 4 holes here. Like I said, I use the rail for the cabinet, which you'll see here. So here I'm just marking the holes where I want to drill. And you can pretty much put this on the top, sit it right on the top of the where the top trim piece, because you have to remember the wheel can't be above the very top itself. And then also pre-drill all the holes. And then here I use a 3.5 inch screw and then 2 washers and that little spacer. And you'll see me tighten those down, as I go across. And once you get that step done, the next step is to, I should say the washer will go behind the spacer, between the spacer and the piece, and then the other washer will go behind the head of the screw that you're screwing in. The next step is to attach the wheels to the actual doors themselves. I went ahead and measured. You have to put the door up on the rail to just see how where your gap needs to be. This one I always do mine at 5 inches and a quarter. 5 inches and a quarter. Just put your little mark and then hold the barn wheel on. Drill your 2 holes, and then here I use the screws. Like I said, I'll link all this below so you can just go straight into Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, and buy what you need. I don't know how long of a rail that they have. I know they have 4-foot sections. Like I said, I buy the 20s and I cut it down. But I will link what you need, and you can look around your local hardware stores and see if they have, what you need. And once you do this, you're pretty much done after this. Just try to do a small test fit. Like I said, it's a screw here and then a washer behind that. Like I said, look forward to many more videos here in the future. Thank you all.